You are totally awesome. Welcome to You're Totally Awesome, a podcast devoted to catching up with some of the amazing people around us and finding out what they've been up to lately. My name's Aaron, and today we're joined by a computer science whiz and iPhone app developer, Stephen Poletto. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it wouldn't be complete without you. I've been bugging Stephen to be on the podcast because he's been developing this new iPhone app, and finally it's out. Oh, it's not out in the public yet, right?
No, we're about 2 weeks away from shipping to the App Store.
Okay,
and then we'll do a big public unveil.
Right, unveil, and it's called Square Quotes.
It's called
right?
Square Quotes. That's right.
But we can talk about it now.
We
right?
can
we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about Square Quotes?
Sure. So quotes are very important to me. Over the course of my 4 years at Brown, I've collected very important inspirational things that people have said to me that have shaped the way that I think about the world. One, for instance, I was in San Francisco this past summer. I had an internship there doing software engineering, and one of my friends, Nora Orton, was also out in San Francisco, like in the Bay Area, because she's from Oakland. And we were drinking one night, we were chatting, and I was talking about how sad I was that the summer was ending, because I had a really good summer last summer. And as much as I wanted to come back to Brown, I was sad to be leaving the summer behind and leaving awesome housemates behind. And so we were, kind of talking about that, how hard it is to let go of something that's so great in the present and move on.
Right.
And she gave me this quote that is, every so often I say to myself, and this is a Kurt Vonnegut quote, every so often I just say to myself, if this isn't nice, then I don't know what is. And it reminds me to re-immerse myself in the present and appreciate what I have.
That's a beautiful quote.
Right in front of me.
Right.
So when I'm feeling sad or anxious or distressed,
just
take a deep breath, look at the world around me and say, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is.
Exactly.
And so that's something, that's just one of a handful of things that have really stuck with me.
Sure.
And in addition to like inspirational quotes, both from friends and from inspirational figures, Kurt Vonnegut, Steve Jobs, a number of people. Right. Your friends also just say stupid, silly things.
That's what I was going to go for more so,
You can totally publicly slander them.
Absolutely.
Which is totally fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've been building an iPhone app. It's also going to be on Android, and there's going to be a web site and web application to submit your quotes as well, where you jot down the quote, and you say the person who said it. So, Steve Jobs, real artist, ship. Yeah. Something like that. And the quote text is superimposed on top of an image.
Okay.
So we have a bunch of like template images, kind of pretty, blurry field, fortune cookie kind of thing, post-it note. And you can also maybe grab Facebook photos of the person that you're quoting.
Okay, and put them in there.
So you position the text on top and you submit it, and it's basically a little social network of quotes where you can see all of the quotes that you've collected.
Right.
And if you're quoted, for instance, let's say you jot down something funny that I've said, I'll get a push notification, also get a notification on Facebook, and I'll see, Aaron has quoted me. And
can you accept and decline or not?
It's public.
Okay.
You can flag it. You can say I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And we'll remove quotes that are misattributed. But
for the most part,
now it's public, and so we can get a little quoting war. Back and forth.
That would be a quote.
You quoted me about something stupid, and now I'm going to keep my ears pierced.
Only profound things come out of this mouth.
Yeah, of course.
That's such a lot. That's such a lot.
So now I'm gonna listen very intently to what you say and get back at you.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. So that was your latest project, and
that's my latest project.
You developed the iPhone app. You specifically for that.
That's right. So it's a team of 4 Brown students, and then we have a graphic designer.
Okay.
And we've been working on it all semester. Did it as an independent study, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I think the learning experience for me has been so incredible by creating a real product.
Right.
You can learn a lot of stuff in a theoretical class on software engineering. Sure. Or you can actually go out and try to build something and realize the real life challenges and failures and things that you have to deal with, dealing with legal troubles, dealing with
all these other
privacy policies, and things that when you think, I'll make this app happen, that you don't confront until you're actually out in the field building.
But you built other things prior to this, right?
I have a lot of the projects that I've built have been kind of toys for myself.
Right. But extremely useful toys that the world can use.
Maybe some of them.
Totally, you should check out some of his other apps. We'll post them online. Like Biller, for example.
The Biller is... I think Biller is really the first, aside from my work that I did for Apple, is really my first, let's ship it to the world, let's give it to real customers.
Biller
lets
you want to explain it real quick?
Sure, so Biller is another iPhone app, and it's we've often had this problem where you go out to dinner with a group of people, and the check comes,
Right.
and everyone kind of, hey, who's gonna take care of this? I don't
It's
know.
on Steven.
Yeah, right. Someone's got to do the math and figure this out. And someone always gets shortchanged, right? Like it comes up and it's like, oh, we're $5 short. I'll take it, whatever.
Yeah.
Or worse yet, someone's like, I'll pay on my card. You guys all pay me back.
Right.
And then he never collects the money. So we took a look at like what was available on the App Store, and there just aren't very good check splitting, tip calculating apps.
Yeah.
So I decided to build one, and enlisted the help of Ivy Hu, who's a graphic designer at RISD, made it look really pretty. And then brought on Nick Schulman, who's a sophomore, and he kind of did press and marketing for it. So, which was really big because I probably would have just released it to the App Store and
just
been like,
hey
friends,
go
use
check
this.
it out.
But he reached out to bloggers, and we actually got some coverage, which was really cool because it led to a significant number of downloads.
Which is awesome.
And people in the real world outside of College Hill are actually using this app, and that's cool to see something that you've made. I mean, even something as trivial as a bill splitting app, like real people are using it, and that's cool.
And that's potentially what will happen with squirt quotes,
hopefully. Yeah.
Let's not shortchange you either. So Steven worked at Apple the last 2 summers as interns, and now he's going over to Dropbox. And they're lucky to have him, obviously. And can you just tell us kind of what the environment was like working at Apple a little bit? I mean, that's where you really got your skills to be an iPhone developer.
Sure, yeah.
Developer, right?
I have to be careful about what I say.
Sure, that's fine.
But Apple's really great because the people there are very quality driven.
Right.
They really, really care about the quality of the
product.
Well,
you can tell the products that we have. I mean, I'm a Mac user, even though I use an Android phone. I have a MacBook computer, and you obviously have your iPhone, and it's top notch.
And so the people there are just very, very passionate about what they do, and I feel like it was a great learning environment because I had written. I started programming in college, so I've only been doing this for a couple of years.
That in itself is incredible too.
You can take it off.
He's literally one of our best coders, probably on campus. I'm going to be completely honest. And I've asked, that's come from many sources, by the way. It's come from many sources.
I think people who have very little experience with programming or no experience with programming assume it's this like insurmountable mountain.
Right.
Coding. You're reading code.
It sounds like
it sounds very challenging. It sounds impossible. And even I, coming out of high school, I was interested in math and science, but coding seemed like, I don't know, you're reading some voodoo cryptic symbols.
Yes, yes, and yes.
And, anyone can pick it up, I think. I think it's easier for people who have a strong background in math and logic.
Yeah.
But I think people who are interested in building things, if they stick with it, and they have the right guidance and they have the right structure, for instance, I was fortunate enough to take an introductory programming course at Brown where there were TAs who were very helpful, very supportive, very guiding, and anyone can pick it. Anyone can do it.
So,
I think.
So tell us, maybe growing up, you never coded, but do you have an interest? I mean, what led to this interest in computer science and building more than computer science, building apps? Because that's really what you are. You're a builder.
So I think in high school I was very interested in math and science.
Okay.
I loved calculus and physics, and I liked objectivity. I didn't like studying history or writing papers so much, or writing English papers, because I felt this is very subjective, it's open to interpretation, some people like my stuff, some people don't like my stuff, whereas with math there's a right answer. And that was kind of comforting for some reason, I really liked that. But also I just liked puzzles, I've always liked solving puzzles, even as a kid I would get puzzle books and go to the puzzle shop when we were vacationing on Cape Cod and
what a nerd.
Total nerd.
It's the best way.
Yeah, totally.
Not the ladies. That's really the nerd ladies.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I don't know. When I came to Brown, when I was shopping, I read about CS15 because
which is the introductory
CS class.
Van Dam.
So I was reading critical review and got good reviews. People said it was interesting. People said there were skits and it was funny and entertaining, and the TA staff was really great. So I decided to shop it. And then on the first day, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. The first day, the TA staff puts on this, this total, they take over the classroom for 10 minutes and put on an extravagant skit, and you have these computer science majors acting to, to get people in the classroom, but it worked on me.
Right.
And so I stuck with it, and it just, given my interests, it just, where math and physics eventually broke down as becoming too theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
I took math and physics at Brown, thinking I would be a physics major, and I took these classes, And they were fun. It was, solving puzzles on whiteboards essentially. But eventually it became so abstract. I can solve these equations, but what do they mean? How do they relate to my daily life?
Yeah.
How do I explain this to friends and family in a way that they care?
Right.
And maybe some more talented physicists can do it, but
it's not where your interest lies.
It wasn't aligning with my interests. So where that was becoming too theoretical, computer science was coming in, and I could build software. I could show it to my friends. I could look at this game of Tetris I made. I built this. I wrote this.
Exactly.
Oh wow, this is a whole creative toolbox where I can imagine things in my head.
Yeah.
I can imagine various software applications,
right.
And then given enough background, I can actually build those things.
Right.
It's really like giving a child a box of crayons,
exactly.
And saying, "Here's a canvas, go draw something." And
you really just wanted to be a kid with crayons again.
Totally.
That's essentially what it comes down to. The passion that you talk like that you're speaking with is just that's evident that you obviously love this.
Yeah, it's great.
So that developed into more computer science classes. Was it just that class, and you knew you were going to do computer science after that class?
That class was addicting. I would work on these projects, and I wouldn't want to leave my computer. I'd be like, okay, there's this bug that I need to figure out, and I don't want to leave until it's solved.
Yeah.
Why is my Tetris piece getting stuck in the wall instead of falling down when I
Right.
rotate it? Oh, I want to figure out why that's going on.
This man doesn't sleep. When he gets addicted to his project,
It's true. I do have a bit.
I worry about him.
And
You see this coffee. Everything. He does have an addictive. It's great as a friend because he'll always be up to talk. And then so that developed and
and I don't know when I knew. I guess I just kept taking CS classes and never got sick of them. And all of a sudden, sophomore year, I sort of accidentally ended up at Apple. I gave them my resume in the fall at some talk they were at, and they contacted me many months later. And sure, I'll interview, and, and then that led to me being at Apple. And then at Apple, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Building software that actually goes out to thousands of people. And
you were affecting them.
Yeah,
you're affecting all of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
And that's really empowering to feel like you can create software that lots of people depend on to do their job or just to enhance their lives.
Right.
So, and it started out with me kind of like, okay, I'll implement this assignment. I'm not broadening my vision enough to think of all the things I could do with this. I'm just kind of doing what is asked of me in the classroom.
Right.
And then I took on an internship, and then I was doing what my manager asked of me. And I was, I'll work on this project, I'll do the best I can. And then eventually, it's just like a broadening of vision to see, oh wow, look at all the potential applications, look at all the things I could do with software. And so I've gotten more and more interested in smaller companies, startups, where you can have a big impact, you can take on a lot of responsibility, and you can really shape the direction of the product that so many people use.
Right, and that's why you're going to Dropbox next year, right?
Yeah, so...
And what team are you going to be on over there?
I believe I will be on their iPhone, their iOS, iPhone,
because
iPad.
You obviously have experience in that.
Yeah, so I did Mac development at Apple, and iOS development is very, very similar.
Right.
And I've been kind of practicing that this year.
Yeah, obviously.
In a bit of preparation for, I'll probably be on that team at Dropbox, and so it's sort of in prepreparation for going to Dropbox, I've been learning how to program for the iPhone.
That's really cool. And then, so you're going to be there long term. Is this... you're going to be at Dropbox forever, or, it sounds like you have such an entrepreneurial mind. We talk about it a lot, but
Sure,
yeah. Yes,
entrepreneurship is definitely interesting to me because there's some gap in the world.
Yeah.
You identify it, and you and a few other people team up, and you fill the gap.
Right.
And, unfortunately, I'm not at a place right now to do that. And I think that there's a lot to be learned from Dropbox, and I think joining the Dropbox team is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Working with those people and learning so much from them.
Yeah.
And contributing to a fantastic product that so many people use.
Right.
So I'm really excited to go to Dropbox, and we'll see. Who knows how long I'll stay?
Yeah.
Who knows where I'll go next? But there's definitely in the back of my mind this entrepreneurial spirit and this drive to create something to try to enhance the world in some way.
And you have the work ethic to do it, and then the passion inevitably. That's so exciting. Everyone be on the lookout for this guy. There's going to be some company out there that you're going to see Stephen Poletto's name attached to. Right?
Hopefully.
Hey, I'm calling it now. So, but thanks. Oh, last question. If you could look back and talk to freshman year Stephen, what would you say? What advice would you give to him? It's a hard one. It's a hard question.
That's a very tough question.
And it seems like you've done a lot of the right things because you're pretty happy. Stephen's just always smiling.
I sort of subscribe to chaos theory. I think very small changes in initial conditions can cause very different results at the end.
The butterfly.
And so it's hard for me to look back on anything and say, well, I should have done this differently.
Yeah.
I've definitely made mistakes, and I've definitely learned important lessons from those mistakes.
Right.
But I don't think I have any regrets, and I don't know that I would necessarily steer myself on a different path, because then who knows where I'd be.
You wouldn't be.
And I kind of like this path I'm on right now. So.
Fantastic.
But I don't know, advice I could give myself, I guess.
Eat more chicken. And
I think freshman year I was a little antisocial. Probably could have branched out a little more.
Okay, well you had your CS stuff going anyway. You were grinding hard.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks so much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
This was great. We really appreciate it. So, and we'll have the link to his apps, his latest. Well, not score quotes yet, but for Bill, or at the very least, on the blog post. So be on the lookout for that, and also be on the lookout for score quotes.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.